I'm Natelle Williams, a women's occasion wear designer and founder of the Natelle Williams brand. Welcome to my personal diary, a safe space for us to talk about business, fashion, life, and everything in between. I'm on a journey to build my brand, and if you're listening to this, I'm glad to have you here. I am here today. I want to talk to you guys. I want to talk to you guys on a regular basis. I want to talk to you about anything and everything to do with fashion, but also life in general. I'm not going to call this a podcast. In my head, I was thinking about, I wanted to do a podcast. I want to, the main thing is I wanted to connect. That was the main goal. And I was thinking about different ways that I could do that. Is it just an audio piece? Is it, on video? Is it a podcast? Do I get guests? How do I do it? But I just thought, just start with what you have. I'm in my studio right now. This is my real life studio where I create stuff. I've shifted things around a bit today, so it looks a little bit more presentable because believe me, this place isn't always as tidy. You can see a little bit right now, but it's a lot of fabric. I'm really working in here. So, but yeah, this is where I do my work. This is one of my pieces. It was an awards piece that I created with awards in mind. Award seasons tend to happen more towards the end of the year, like not October to December, around that time. We do have awards throughout the year. My speciality, for those of you who don't know, is women's occasion wear. So it could be an award ceremony, it could be a big birthday, it could be a charity ball, it could be a wedding, an engagement, anything that you would call an occasion, something that you would want to spend a little bit more time and care to pick up your outfit, and something that feels really, really special to you. That is my speciality. That is what I love to do. Make those special moments even more special by making you feel the best you've ever felt. That is my goal. And with that, I feel like I need to find a way to talk to you guys, to get to know you a little bit better, let you get to know me better, because I'm so private. I'm such a private person. I've always been that way. I can't help it. That's just how I am. Before I was doing this as a business, I wasn't even on social media. So it's a chore for me to post things. It's a chore for me to think, you need to record this, to post it. That doesn't come natural to me. To some people it's very natural, to me it's not. So me just getting on camera like this is actually a really big deal. But I wanted to do it because we're in the 21st century and social media is such a big part of what we do on a daily basis. There's so many things that I'm going to talk about that I don't want to, overcross on certain topics, but I work in marketing. That's been my 9 to 5 for years now, and we'll come on to that a bit later. But so I understand the importance. It's just not something I've done personally, but I want to change that. And what I will be asking, and what I have been asking, is for you to ask me anything, so that I can put all your questions together, answer them in this way. So on video, and it's there. It's our way to talk, communicate. You can message me, you can, comment underneath, you can, email me or whatever it is. And let's talk. I work here on my own. So sometimes I get a little lonely. I would like people to talk to. So if you want to message me with any questions, if you're in the creative field, if you love fashion, if you are a business owner, if you are a woman that just relates, or man, within reason, and you can relate to what I'm saying in any way, just pop me a message. I'm friendly, so I'll respond, and we can talk, and if there are ways that we can even work together, I'm open to that. So that's what this is. That's what this is. That's what I want it to be. This is my first attempt at this video. How it develops, I don't know. It might look very different in a month's time, a year's time, but we're here right now, so let's talk. I have a few questions to get started with. I did put a few calls out for people to, literally ask me anything. And thank you for the people who have, well, to the people who have responded. Let's get into it. So before we get started, let me give you the rundown on this outfit. This is a two-piece, so it's a separate skirt and top, crop top, with a nice boat neck detail, which I find very, very elegant. It shows the collarbone and it gives enough to show a little bit of skin, not too much, so it's ideal for like work, events, or something a little bit more formal where you want to show a little bit of your femininity but still keep it modest and demure. And the skirt is just a simple pencil skirt, high-waisted with a slit at the back, with a closure at the back, both closures at the back. I created this piece for the working woman, the woman who goes to, formal events, a work party, you might have an awards ceremony to go to, and you just want something that's very well fitted, form-fitting, sexy, elegant, stylish. It's a Dupion silk, which is made in India. Hot pink, as you can see. We're going into spring summer now, so the brighter colours are starting to come out. It's definitely one for attracting that attention but still keeping it classy, keeping it elegant and timeless, which is what I'm all about. So those are the details. Let's get into the questions, shall we? So one of the questions was, how long does it take to make a dress? Now that question is the equivalent of how long is a piece of string, because so many things go into it. It depends on so many different factors. It could be, well, not could be, but these are the things that go into it. So fabric. What fabric is going to make up this dress? What is the design of the dress? Depends on its complexity. There are different steps that you might follow, and if it's a custom dress that you've not made before for somebody that you've not sewn for before, you're most likely going to create a tulle is what we would call it, or a test garment. So you take their measurements. You wouldn't then go and make that on the true fabric or the the end fabric that they want to use, because things are expensive. You don't want to buy twice, you don't want to cut twice. So you're going to use a cheaper fabric that imitates the way your true fabric or your end fabric will move as closely as possible, and then you would go and make it. Once you're happy, all of the tweaks have been made, the client's happy, you would then go and make it on the true fabric. So there are so many things that go into the dressmaking process or garment making process that it's impossible to say. You can give an estimate, you can give a roundabout figure depending on the experience that you have in making a garment like that, or as close as possible. If you've never made anything like it before, then you're taking a guess, an educated guess at the best. So that is the answer. There's no time I can give, I'm afraid. Another question that came in was, what is your background in terms of work? So I actually studied web development at university, got the degree, but by the end of the first year, I'm going to say, I knew I didn't want to be a web developer. I knew I wanted to work in the field, I wanted to work in marketing, I wanted to work in tech, but I knew I didn't want to be a developer. But I kept my head down, I studied hard, and I ended up graduating with a first, which was great, and then gave me the platform then to go and get a great internship at my first place of employment. And from there I stayed within the digital field, but branched out. So I worked in a communications team at an NHS hospital, and I stayed there for about 3 years. And in that time, I was able to get so much experience. I was able to work in the communications team, and they had access to all areas of the hospital. So I was working directly with patients, families, staff. So I was able to tell patient stories, which was amazing. Got involved in photography, video, social media was a big one. Worked on their intranet, so their internal internet system, and which basically kept staff updated, news bulletins, internal videos and things like that. Any kind of internal information was posted on that system. I also did a lot of work on their external website, which, that part was definitely in direct correlation to my degree. So that was for the first 3 years of my career. I then moved on to a digital marketing agency in Birmingham, which was, again, great. It allowed me to touch so many bases, work with lots of different clients within the hospitality and education sector for the first few years. And then I changed roles, got a few promotions, and by the time I left that company, I was a product manager and working with motor factors. And for those of you who don't know, and I didn't know until I started that job, a motor factor is basically when you drive and you take your car to the garage, it's in for MOT, and they say to you, you need a new clutch, for instance. They usually don't store those pieces on site because they have limited space, and they will call a motor factor who has a really small shop front. Usually some of them have bigger, but usually it's a very small shop front, maybe a couple of meters by a couple of meters, and a massive warehouse at the back, and they store thousands if not millions of products on site. And they will make multiple trips to different garages each day and supply those mechanics. That's what motor factor is. By the end of my career, I was working with motor factors and pubs exclusively, building websites for them and onboarding them to a new system that had been implemented at the agency. So that's what my background is in a nutshell. So nothing to do with fashion, essentially. Fashion came about because that is something I had a genuine passion for, a genuine interest. I have always loved expressing myself through creation and fashion.